I'm so fucking done with people.
Right.
That, like...
La 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 la. Hang on. Let me see. Let's see. La la la. Ah, I can hear myself. Do you need more time to put on your face?
No, that's good enough.
Or as the drag community, to beat your face? I need to beat my face. If I'm rushing you.
No, I'm good. That's literally all I wanted to do.
Okay.
I feel better now.
Okay, can I borrow some of your makeup? Because my face is unbeaten right now.
Skin show.
I need to fucking... Alright, let's swing... Let's swang that sucker right over the yaw. And then those are your headphones.
Did you go down?
I think so. The actual... The armlets. The arms. You can also... There's one without arms. And then there's a gigantic captain's chair you can use. So you can feel like you're...
Somebody?
Jean-Luc Picard. I always try to start each episode with a Jean-Luc Picard reference.
Dude, this... It's because I'm short as fuck. And like...
Engage.
What?
I said engage. Like Jean-Luc Picard. Alright, now swing this that way. And then put on those headphones.
It's all about that ergonomic life.
Dude, I'm telling you. Joe Rogan keeps talking about these chairs that he uses. And I'm like, I want those fucking chairs. Oh, by the way.
I can hear you.
Well, yeah, that's... Technology is a magical device, isn't it? Device?
I can't hear... Oh, I can hear my own voice. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, think of how I feel.
Fuck.
What do you mean, oh, fuck? You
like a
volunteered
valley
to
girl.
come on to the... Well,
Oh my god, guys.
Really?
I talk.
so how long have you lived? You're like 47, right?
47, yeah.
So how long have you not known that you sound like you sound?
I mean, it's always been an insecurity, but...
I'm glad we could be here. I'm glad I could be here
I'm so
to...
glad that I'm here today.
Ugh. Can you... I'm regretting getting you all these treats. You can swing it actually closer to your dumb face as well. That way... Perfect.
How's that?
Perfect. How do you want to go by?
How do I want to go by?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Do you want Danielle?
No, Danny.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 16 of Conservatish. Sweet 16. Our guest today is Danny. Whatever the hell. Dani. Yay!
Yay.
So happy to have you on. And this is going to be probably weird. I posted, did you see my post to this?
No.
So first things first, I haven't slept since noon yesterday. It's just a weird schedule. I had a fucking fucked up busy ass weekend of stuff. And so I decided not to set any alarm yesterday, and then I got up at noon, or a little after noon, and I was like, well, that wasn't good, because I would rather. So then by the time I was tired, it was like an hour before I needed to come here. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just not going to sleep.
So you recorded... Oh, but what did you do from noon to this morning?
So I worked.
What do you do?
I'm a restaurant server.
Okay.
And then what else? I dicked around on starting up some more dating profiles. I really don't want to share.
Oh my god! Why?
I'm too honest on this thing. I should really have some sort of veiled, like Trent Reznor when he goes on stage.
He's so
he doesn't
hot.
talk. Of course, dude.
So
Absolutely,
fucking
dude.
bankable.
I would diddle him. But he doesn't. He has like this veil of like like mystery. Like he doesn't say hi except for like thank you very much for coming out or hello San Francisco or any of that bullshit. Like me, I like just talking. I like just like you know what I mean. I like just dicking around with people and just.
He's mysterious.
There's no mysterious with me.
Travis,
There's no mystery.
Who's my boyfriend, for those of you listening who don't know.
Oh my god. Total, he's a dreamboat.
He loves Trent Reznor. He's like, we're going to name our son Trent. I'm like,
Don't
do that.
Don't do that.
It's like a name. It's a hot name. It's a hot boy name. Trent Reznor. He also has this hot little Asian wife.
I'm not big into Asian girls.
Jake is big into Asian
No,
girls.
I know he's big into Asian girls.
Big into Asian.
Most fully white guys are into Asian girls, and it makes white women insecure. But for me, I'm telling you, there's nothing, and it's not like a flat ass thing. I don't mind not a huge ass as long as it has a little bit of bubble, but like it's just the face. Like you have to. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry, Asian girls. I'm just not. You know, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea. You know, not everybody has to be everybody's fucking cup of tea.
No.
But, you know, for me, I give me a fucking skinny white girl all day. Like, you know, I said it on a podcast once. Like, I'll fuck pretty much anything. But, like, I'll fuck. But, like, I'll absolutely go for a black girl or an Asian girl. But, like, you have to be like a 9 or a 10. Or especially, there's another factor, too. But you kind of got to be Americanized. Like, I'm not into, like, you know, I'm just not into, like, the Eastern, I'm sorry, like, it's just not my thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But give me a white 6 over a fucking, you know, like, a black 8. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just have a thing for the white meat. Like, white boys all day. It's just always what I liked.
Right.
It's funny because my mom's the same way, and she looks much more like Hispanic Native American than I. Mm-hmm. And she just has always dated the whitest of white dudes.
Right.
No joke.
So you're not fully white?
No. We thought we were Mexican for a really long time.
Okay.
And then my mom did that ancestry thing.
Right.
And turns out we're not fucking Mexicans. We've been making tamales forever. I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? Where did
you
we
didn't
start
notice? You didn't. There was no hint when you said tamales.
Yeah,
We've been making tamales and tortillas for like years.
No, ever since I was growing up. I'm like, no joke.
Ever since I was in my pueblo when I was growing up.
Fuck off. But yeah, seriously, it's just so weird. And then we found out like we're Native American.
Okay.
Which is crazy. So I plan on milking that when I do go back to school and on anything that I need. Like on my application to my job that I'm currently in, I'm like, oh yeah, Native American.
You just just bring out
female,
like a 23andMe certificate that says, give me what I want because I'm right. What percentage are you? Do you know?
I have no clue. But I think it's Cherokee, which is interesting because if you look at my grandpa, he looks super. Well, he's dead now, R.I.P. But he looks super Native American. He was a big asshole too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, what?
He died
such
recently.
reverence.
He died.
Such reverence. R.I.P.
He died recently. He died. When did he die? Last year? I don't know. Oh, okay. He was a big asshole.
But he looked white. Is what you're saying. Oh, he looked non-white.
Very Native American.
Oh, okay.
Like you look at him, he looks like one of those Indian like cigar shop things without like the headdress. But you look at him like just look like
that. So what I was gonna say was I posted about it. I was like, it's White Girl Week because I had a white girl on episode 15. So I said we were gonna talk a lot about privilege. I'm sure today. Because that's one of the things. But I said you were a genuine, real-ass, non-liberal woman.
Yes.
Which is a rare thing. Well, maybe not rare, but it's rare to meet one who's open about it.
Yeah, you know what?
What?
Even though I'm Native American...
Right. All right, continue. I'm sorry.
I still consider myself white. Like that's...
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Look at me. Like...
I know. And listen,
hear me.
For the love of God, right.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say I'd say I'm just conservative, period. I mean, there are some things, you know, that I think I'm pretty liberal on, like gay marriage and stuff like that. Right. Like, I just don't really give a fuck, to be honest. Right.
But I think that it depends on each person has a different definition of what quote unquote liberal is or quote unquote conservative is. So some people think, well, it's liberal to be into gays. But, like, I haven't really met any conservatives who are against gays. Like, so I don't know where this definition that anti-gay is a conservative and pro-gay is a liberal thing. Like, that's just a weird definition that we put on it a long time ago. It just seems kind of...
I think that comes from a lot of talk in previous elections about, like the right for gays to get married. So people automatically associate it with...
I mean, maybe like 15, 20 years ago, for sure. And
then the religion aspect of like what quote unquote conservatives are, like the religious, like thumpers, whatever, Bible thumpers, or that's for some reason I feel like that's part of the idea behind what more liberal people think about conservatives at times.
But even then, when it comes to definitions of these sides, Obama 10 years ago was anti-gay marriage as well, and he was a liberal. So it's just, where is this, I don't know why the anti-gay stuff got only tacked on to conservatives, you know what I mean?
Because people who are running for office don't really give a fuck, and they'll say whatever they need to say to get elected at the time. And at the time, that's probably what Obama said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's legit.
I mean, it's just, I don't know.
And then Sean Penn changed it all. I love Milk, by the way. Have you seen Milk, the movie?
No.
The movie's the fucking shit.
No.
I absolutely. Every time they win against Anita some shit. Every time and he starts tearing up, I start tearing up a little bit. It's a bit, yeah.
I hate movies.
But what do you mean you hate movies?
Everyone gives me a hard time about
That's that Cherokee in you. We gotta get you.
I think it's the ADHD in me where I just like, if it's not super intense from the get-go, I just can't.
Right.
It has to be like intense all the time.
Right.
For me to like be interested in it.
Right.
Like I just watched No Country for Old Men. First time, just watched it.
That's not a very intense movie.
It's pretty intense.
Okay, at points. But there's like silence for the first 7 minutes of the goddamn movie.
But it's like you don't know what's going to happen. So it's like
yeah, all right.
This guy's walking with a fucking cattle prod and like blowing people's brains out. Like I have no idea where this is going.
Kind of like air shooter.
The air shooter thing.
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's the stuff that, you know.
Do you like scary movies?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bad scary movies. I recently watched... What is it? I always forget the name. The Conjuring. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I watched Mandy, the Nicolas Cage movie. Did you see the previews for that? So I watched Mandy. I went to what is it called? It's in the Mission, Alamo Draft House. It's one of those movie theaters where like they bring you the drinks and they blah blah blah, and you know that you order food.
Sounds fucking awful.
Yeah, it's not all that great, especially because I couldn't fucking recline. And I wanted to recline, and I couldn't recline. And I was a little, my back was a little upset with me.
Recline.
I couldn't recline. But Mandy was interesting. I think I liked the first maybe half hour of it more than it got very like, because I wasn't expecting it to go that far into like the fantasy village. I like the stuff that I like is more like realistic, even though this killer, even though it's, the killer is making, is missing all the shots and the hero is making all the shots, like obviously, but when it goes into like otherworldly stuff, that it kind of loses me. But that the way the director did the first like 10 minutes or a half hour, you should watch it. It's fucking
Mandy.
It's creepy. Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it.
It's very David Lynch, like where like he plays
don't
with
say
different,
that fucking name.
He plays with different like sounds and colors.
Is it cinematography?
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Well,
okay.
All right.
Lost Highway. Lost Highway was such an awful movie. Oh my god. Travis and Jake are like, you're gonna love this movie. I'm like, it looked like a cheap like 80s porn film, like just with this fucking shitty storyline. It just and people are like, oh, David Lynch, and like I don't get this.
Okay, first things first. I was just using it as an example.
But I'm just telling you.
Oh, thank you very much for springboarding into
because
your tangent.
I want you
this
to know
is my show, technically. I get to springboard into tangents.
I want to springboard.
But what other David Lynch movies have you seen?
I mean, that's it. And that's the only one I'll probably ever see.
Oh, come on.
It was
Wild
so
at Heart?
bad.
If you like
Everyone
intense...
says, oh no, I saw Wild at Heart. That was a really good movie. Is that the one with the girl who's in the hotel room?
Yeah.
Yes, love that movie. That was a great movie.
Wild at Heart is, in my opinion, the best fucking movie of all time.
Yes, that was an awesome movie.
Nicolas Cage wearing a fucking snakeskin jacket. Laura Dern looking as fucking... Dude, Laura Dern could goddamn get it, dude. I don't give a fuck, dude.
She's
Laura Dern now... I would beat the shit out of that chick. Absolutely.
I don't know what she looks like now, but she was hot in that movie.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, her politics are shit. I've been recently running into all this. I follow the Bird and the Bee, this band, and they had this, get out the vote, night, and they had, which is funny too because they only want to validate the vote when it gets them their way.
Right.
Like, hang on, a lot of people voted for Trump. Yeah, but that's not, no, that doesn't count because, we want the vote, but only if you're going to
vote our way.
We're going to glam up
Everyone
the midterms.
Everyone else could not get out and vote.
Billy Eichner, suck my fucking dick.
That's so annoying.
Douchebag. Anyway, he used to be really funny. Anyway, so I was following Bird and the Bee, and they posted something about doing this. Can you hear yourself okay? You're okay?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. And they posted something about doing this liberal night, fundraiser thing for the vote, and how it was like, They had David Grohl and Beck and a bunch of, and Justin Metal Johnson, like Beck's old bassist. It was a lot of like awesome musicians that I really respect. And I commented like, hey, thank you. Like, this is fucking incredible to have the 5 of you all on one stage. I don't agree with your politics, but like, I totally respect, and I can get over myself enough to like say, you know, rock on. And then Inara George, the singer of Bird and Bee, was like, hey, that's really cool, you know, that you can blah, blah, blah. But I keep running into this where like, how many posts do I give Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman? Because I love what they do artistically. How many posts do I give them before I'm like, okay, all right, I'll ignore this post, but like, how many posts in do you have to be like I finally blocked Nick Offerman today, you know, which I'm not saying that to like hurt him or whatever, but like, I finally blocked Nick Offerman today because I was just like, he posted some shit on Twitter, which is the worst of all the social medias. He posted something like, you know, this really, you know, Congress really obviously, or the Senate really obviously proved that they don't care about women at all. And I was just like, what a douche. What a fucking cocksucker. Oh and the next guy, by the way, the guy I'm going to have on Monday's episode is going to be, he's like deeply steeped in the Kavanaugh stuff. And so we're going to go into it. It's going to be awesome. Fun.
Yeah, you know, I actually spent a good chunk of time off of social media, Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
I just reactivated my Facebook like literally 2 weeks ago, and I took like a 5-6 month break hiatus from it.
Right.
And mostly because I got in a pretty dark place.
Oh yeah.
Can I talk about being sober on here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So obviously, like, in sobriety, like when I got sober, I was definitely more liberal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it was really weird. And the only reason I figured out was because I was very terrified of thinking and feeling differently than people around me. Right. Just because I still had a lot of that, like, I really want you to like me. I need you to like me to be okay. Like, my whole security and well-being depends on you liking me. And if I think differently than you or act differently than you, that means, like, you're not going to like me. So I had these very fucked up ideals of, like, you know, who I needed to be okay. And that's a really confusing place to be in. And, you know, I started doing some spiritual work, and, you know, I've come to find out, like, I am not what other people's idea of, like, a woman of grace and dignity is, you know, because, like, that looks different for many people. You know what I mean? And, like, that, you know, like, I can't be anyone different than who I am because I spent my whole life doing that. Right. And I just had this realization that, like, dude, everything I've been in my entire life is fake. So I just form some own opinions of myself, regardless of what everyone else thinks. And that's, like, around 3 years ago that I started having these, like, revelations of what I actually believe in. Oh yeah. You know, what I actually think about. And going back to that Facebook thing, like, you know, I felt like a lot of it was me just, like, shoving my opinion in your face because, one, I wanted you to know I thought different than you, but also because, like, I finally, it's like this weird, like, bounce. What are those things with the weights? Those, like, you, like, weigh shit and they, like, move up and down. What are they called?
Scales.
Oh,
for the love of God.
It's like this weird...
Even if I knew what you were talking about, I did want to help you. I would have watched you drown in that for
okay. I probably would have. It's like the scale of, like, wanting, like, you to know my opinion. Right. And, like...
And there's tremendous freedom in it. And once you had that freedom, once the seal was broken, you're like, oh, shit, I get to be myself. You know what I mean?
But also at risk of, like, you know, a lot of people deleted me. A lot of people gave me a hard time. I, you know, deleted a lot of people as well.
Sure.
And then after the election, when things are just going crazy, I'm like, you know what? We won. Like, I don't really give a fuck what you say. And also, you should, like, I don't need to, like, be shoving my opinion, like, down your throat all of the time.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's just, like, a really interesting balance with social media. As soon as I got back on, I'm like, nothing has changed. It's just a lot of hypocrisy in, like, our spiritual group of individuals who, like, talk about, like, love and tolerance is, like, the code of what we do. Everyone's a perfect child of God, but, you know, not Republicans, not conservatives, not Trump for sure. Right. You know, and I'm just like, you're just scared and fake. Like, no offense, but, like, you can't like claim these things, but then only have it be for what you prefer, if that makes sense.
Right. And I also feel like there's a couple of things that you were talking about that were interesting. I also feel like on the angle of social media, it becomes such a friend once said, Trinity, who was on the podcast episode 10, I think she, her guy said it this way once, that Facebook is like my stage character. You know what I mean? The person that I want everybody to believe that I am. And in reality, I'm different. And I believe that's on every side, in every argument, in every whatever. We're all dirty little humans doing this weird shit. And the other thing, I think, it's easier to be, like, I know I was that way. I was much more liberal when obviously it's been about 16 years since I drank or used. But, like, the younger you are, I think it's a factor too, is the older... We don't live by responsibility when you're getting high and panhandling and doing the shit that I did, you know. Responsibility is like I was hanging out with some people, and I heard this gal who, she was probably 60 and said that she had been on SSI for most of her adult life. Right. It gets worse. And was like living on had gotten Section 8 housing. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't have any visible disabilities. I'm not saying that there aren't people who have some sort of mental incapacities who so you roll your eyes as well. That's what I was trying to not do in front of this person. But I was just like, okay, like, I'm not saying that girl or lady, or, I mean, she said she was whatever. She said she was some sort of trans or whatever, and that's more hats off to her. But, like, this person is not, I'm sure they're a child of God just like the rest of us. But she's 60 years old and has been getting high for most of her life and getting drunk for most of her life, and has also been living off of other people's money for all of her life. And it just made me feel like, even though I understand that, and I relate to it, fucking shit do I relate to it. I've been a mooch most of my life. I get it. I fucking get it. I don't want to take responsibility. I don't want to be accountable for my actions. Absolutely not. That's not in my nature. In my nature is to go, what can I get away with? What's the least amount? But this person has been doing that, and there's no... And she even said something about, like, whoa, I hope we survive this Trump thing. And I'm just like, what a fucking douche you are. Like, what a fucking douche. You're not even aware. You don't have the sense of humility enough. You think you're such a... And not just that. There's like... And I also wanted to talk to you about this, but maybe we'll transition. But, like, she wants all of the benefits of but none of the work or responsibility. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's a similar thing that I see with the feminist movement these days, where it's just like, I want... Like, this chick was
I want to dress like a slut and, you know, have all of these, like, do whatever I want because patriarchy is really bad. Right. But also you need to respect me, and, like, if you dare touch me or expose yourself, I'm going to accuse you of rape. Right. Because I'm not giving off those vibes whatsoever.
Right. I was going to stupid... I started dipping my toe into the BDSM community again, and I realized very quickly, like, it's just a bunch of dorks. There's no hot people.
I know someone who was in doing the thing. So I don't say spiritual program. How do I talk about?
Yeah,
someone?
You can say that.
I know someone who's doing a spiritual program who is younger than I, who is on disability, right. Who just literally goes out, doesn't have a job, stays up late, drinks energy drinks, smokes a lot of cigarettes. Mm-hmm. No, like, physical, it's just like a mental...
But I mean, that's obviously that makes sense for young people, because that's what... I mean, I'm not saying it's excusable, but I'm saying it makes sense for young people. This woman was 60.
Yeah, so...
No humility at all. You know what I mean? And yet, because she has a vagina between her legs, she's marginalized. You fucking douche. Like...
I find it utterly offensive as a woman to be pegged in the category of, like, you need to respect us as a woman. Maybe not all women like think of respect the same, number one.
Okay.
But two, but what if like as a woman I just want to be treated like fucking everybody else, like normally, and not be given things because I'm a woman?
Okay.
I'll be given things because I deserve them, because I work hard for them. You have to understand, like, I also grew up with a single mom raising 3 kids in a pretty chaotic household in Gilroy, California. Okay, there's fucking In-N-Out and there's the outlets. They're not jack shit to do there.
Else, right.
Okay, I was exposed to like a lot of things that when I was younger that probably shouldn't have been exposed to,
right.
like a lot of us, right?
Yeah, right.
But also I watched my mom like raise 3 kids single-handedly.
Right.
Okay, I watched my grandma did the same thing. I told you my grandpa was an awful person.
Right.
He's the type of person who would call you fat and ugly when you were 8 years old. And I remember it so clearly.
Right.
Just fucking beat my uncle with a shovel at one point in time.
Right.
But like, you know, my grandma left and she had to do what she had to do to raise her kids. So I was grown up with the mentality of like, you need to fucking survive, you know? And I've always been someone, and not even trying to like toot my own horn, but like I've always had a job. I've worked since I was like 16 years old. I wanted to grow up really fast, but also like I wanted to make a lot of money because I knew that's the only way I could like get out of the shitty situation.
Right.
Right. And I have a lot of work experience for someone my age because I didn't go to college. I couldn't afford to go to college. I was drinking way too heavily to like even do anything.
Right. So why does your hard work, like why, so you made the decision to be responsible and say, fuck it, this is a shit situation that I'm in.
Situation.
But I'm going to work hard anyway, instead of rolling up in a ball and saying, Daddy government, please protect me. Yep. Please, Daddy government, give me money. Please, Daddy government, please take care of me. You know, big white daddy, please.
Yeah.
I'm on the same page with you. And I feel like it's just, it's creepy. And I don't know how, like, if more women aren't able to say, you know, I was watching, I can't remember, I watch a lot of fucking stupid shit, but I was watching something, and I think it was Ben Shapiro who put it, like, didn't these feminists, like, wasn't one of the whole points of this whole feminism movement was you can think for your fucking self. But now,
and you can do anything a man wants to do if you want to do it. That's another bullshit thing. Like, I don't want to be a CEO or a VP. Like, I can barely handle my workload. I don't even fucking manage anybody.
Okay.
I just want to do what I want to do. But if I have the opportunity to do that, and I know I do. Right. But it requires work, and it's not just going to be handed to me because I'm a woman.
Right.
However, working in tech, like, things are definitely changing.
Okay. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit. I know you can't talk about where you currently work.
Well, first and foremost, I don't know if you've heard about this new law fucking Jerry Brown's trying to put in place where it's going to be mandated. You have to have one woman on your board of directors for an organization.
I heard about that, yeah.
Okay, like that's the type of shit I'm talking about.
Right.
And that, you know, I think to some extent, like, sure, it's great to have that diversity of male, female, but like, why is it being mandated for a private company? Why are you trying to tell them how to run their organization?
Here's what's weird about that too. There's a lot of layers of weirdness to that, but that also is dignifying the idea that all women think alike, all men think alike. See, if we have a pussy on this board, then that pussy will get more pussy things done. And obviously all pussies think the same. Guess what, Jerry Brown? That's sexist.
Yeah. Okay, here's
you
like
fucking douche.
So in my world, diversity and inclusion is the most annoying topic that I've come across.
Diversity and inclusion is
diversity and inclusion is a way that tech companies are trying to get more diverse people in the workforce, right? And that's by hiring a quota of, you know, African. Okay, so I talked to my black friend about this. She's like, I'm black, I'm not from Africa. So more black people, more females, like, you know, and that's people for the most part, primarily think of diversity as those two things. I'm like, there's a lot of other types of diversity, political diversity, sexual orientation. Like, you can think of diversity in a lot of different ways.
But not socialists. Socialists think that we need to have we need to have this melting pot.
Yes.
Because that way we can all get everybody into a box.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a lot more control on the left than it is on the right.
Makes everything much more segregated because all we're thinking about is color and gender. Like, and you know what? Tech companies start hiring what they call these diversity and inclusion recruiters. You shouldn't need a diversity and inclusion recruiter. As a recruiter myself, I can tell you, I don't give a fuck who fills this job rec as long as they're good and they're going to do good work. I don't even think about it.
So you actually are a recruiter.
I am a recruiter in the tech field. Okay.
So then do any women ever ever expect you to hire more women?
It is a constant conversation in my field of work.
Weird.
All the time.
Well, because you're a woman, you should, obviously.
And I do. I hire women when they're qualified and good.
Qualified, but that would require work. Big Daddy Government, I don't want to work.
And then there's like a quota.
I have a pussy. So I was touch funny as a kid, so that means give me things.
Yeah, it's just, and it's very obnoxious as a woman, because it's like, hire me. I want to be hired for a job because you think I'm qualified, not because I'm a chick.
Right.
Are you hiring me because I'm a chick or because you think I'm qualified? Are you promoting someone or promoting me because you think I'm qualified or because I'm a chick?
See, I feel like that happens the older I get too. When I crossed the 30 threshold, I started realizing, there is something to this idea that charity makes me feel like a bitch. That charity makes me feel like a wimp, bitch-ass man, that I'm not a fucking man if I get something for free. You know what I mean? And actually, by the way, I was in a shitty relationship with this girl in Portland once. And I know Pete in a shitty relationship, weird. But I was in a relationship, and I was dependent upon her financially, and she was dependent upon me emotionally. And we just were fucking Draculas on each other. And she was 35, and I was like 20, 21.
Weird. What a weirdo.
Yeah, I know. Hey, but you know what?
No, mostly her for being in a relationship with you.
Why?
And she's 30
of course.
something.
Yeah. So
oh,
listen,
my God.
What's wrong? Hey, don't hate.
Well,
anyway, I'm too tired to explain. But what I'm saying is, I got eventually out of that relationship, and a lesbian family member of mine told me after that, she said, Pete, there is something to this idea that I don't think it's healthy for a woman to give a guy money, for a man to rely upon a woman financially. It does, maybe not for the female, it's fine. And this is what I believe. I think for the female, it's fine. And why am I getting, anyway. I think for the female, it's fine. I think for the male, it does something to us, even though it's not a.
What is that? Adele, like from 1990?
Yeah. Dude, I hate this fucking computer. Anyway, it does something stupid to us. It makes us feel like a bitch. It makes us feel like we're not responsible, like we're not providing. And I know that that's stupid, and maybe it's pride or whatever. But that was a lesbian person who told me that.
I make sorry, BB. I make significantly more.
What's BB?
BB's my boyfriend.
Don't call him BB.
He's BB.
Okay.
I'm calling him fucking BB.
Okay. Relax.
Deal with it.
Relax.
My BB. Now it does sound super fucking lame when I say it. My boyfriend makes significantly less money than I do.
Yeah.
And is older than I. And
right. Yeah, but here's what I mean by that.
He does feel like he wants to make more money and provide more for us and our family.
It's a weird thing that's kind of built into us. Like, you guys can give birth, we can't. It
gives me a power trip, to be honest. Like, I fucking love having more money. I'm just like, yeah, bitch, like, I'll pay that. Let's do this. Or you can't.
And I guarantee it's bitch you in the ass. I guarantee
it's just like,
bitch you in the ass.
You can't spend money like me, so don't act like you can spend money like me. Oof. You know, I'm such a bitch.
Oof.
But I'm also shallow. But anyways, like,
surprise.
Yeah. There's it's just like, I don't see it that way. I know that I'm sure he does for sure.
Right.
And
but there is a difference though. There is a difference. That relationship, so as from my experience, if a girl doesn't think her guy is the shit, that's not good.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like, but many guys can maintain, bitch, I'm the shit, even if they make less money. But I don't need to see the chick I'm with as the shit. I'm sorry. Like, I just need her to be my in-pocket girl. I need her to be my fucking Robin, and I'm Batman. You know, Batman needed a fucking Robin. Like, that's not a bad shit. You're not less than me. You're just fucking Robin, baby. Just fucking, I need a fucking partner when I'm done beating the shit out of McGregor and I go into my fucking pocket. You need to dab my forehead and take the water out and say, you got it? I know you can. You beat his, take him to the ground, blah, 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 blah. And then I go out and I do the fighting. The side person, the coach is just as important. The Robin is just as important, but a different job. Different doesn't mean less than, but there is different. You know what I mean? And a lot of this feminist movement is losing the idea that there is different.
Men and women are biologically different.
Right.
They're biologically different. I just got in an argument with my mother about this yesterday.
Fun.
Because we were talking about the diversity and inclusion stuff, and I said, what is the difference between hiring a white male who went to Harvard, who had his way paid for him because he came from a wealthy family, and a black, individual who went to Harvard and got his way paid for him? There's absolutely nothing different between the two. They got in the same way because their families have, quote, privilege, right? They grew up privileged, which is great. I would love to have grown up privileged. I don't see that as a bad thing.
So the white guy privileged, and the black guy
privileged also got into Harvard. They both get into Harvard. One's white, one's black.
But the black guy came through. You're saying the black was also affluent as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And I asked her, like, what is the difference between those things? And she couldn't answer the question. I'm like, exactly, because diversity is viewed as a color thing. There's no difference between me hiring a black person who grew up wealthy and a white person who grew up wealthy. They both grew up wealthy. If you want diversity, why don't you recruit people who don't have college fucking degrees, who couldn't afford to go to college, or people who were fucked up like me at the time, who just didn't go and eventually got their shit together? Why are you requiring this 4-year degree? You want diversity? You should get some diversity in terms of like social class. I find that people who grew up on the East Coast, I love recruiting in the East Coast because people typically have come from more working class families. Yeah. They work hard. Yeah. They work long. Their parents ingrain that shit in them.
And they're funnier too.
And they're funnier and they're straightforward. Yeah. They can build relationships well. Yeah. They're not like, these pompous people who are like, oh, like I learned in college, not like we need diversity. Like, what's your diversity like? I'm like, dude, like.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I've said this on the podcast multiple times. Poya Damar disagreed with me a little bit. And I've had, by the way, I don't know if I should have. It's hard to have tact when you're tired. And I already don't have any. But anyway, I'll get into that maybe later. See, there you go. Now I have tact. I'll shut the fuck up. I don't want to burn bridges. All I know is I've had 2 people on the podcast so far who are either comedians or former comedians who are just not fun. But anyway, what was
think
the
I'm
point?
Gonna sneeze.
Don't into your fucking hands.
That's what you're supposed to do.
No, do the Dracula elbow. What's wrong with you?
Oh, hands are no longer appropriate?
What do you mean hands are no longer appropriate? You're gonna fucking
people sneeze
open
in their
doors.
Hands.
Whatever. It's too late now. Just if I die, I'm gonna sue you. Don't touch me. Get away. Ew. What were we talking about?
Pollo.
Pollo. Here's the thing.
Is that like chicken?
Yeah, chicken of the sea. She's fucking. She's pretty funny. Or he, or whatever. What I'm saying is, I think this, once you hear diversity, like, is really only coming from females or
rich white men.
Yes, non-masculine men. Non-confident masculine men.
Or, CEOs at companies I've work for, who are pretty confident, hot, middle-aged men.
Okay.
Very similar in thought.
Okay.
I really believe that it comes...
Genuinely? Or are they posturing confident for others? Because I definitely... No, I'm not genuinely confident. They genuinely believe this bullshit? Or... Because I feel like they're lying to themselves. I feel like the females who are like, mine's your diversity, like, quota, they actually believe... It's horseshit, but they actually believe it.
They believe it, yeah.
And I feel like it's on that when it's come to like the male feminists, a lot of these motherfuckers are just unconfident, lying to themselves, or they're kind of date rapey. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, which is a big suave generalization.
I think it's a mix. However, I've noticed conservative men are fucking way hotter than...
Yeah, we are.
Oh my God. There's just something about, like, again, I don't mind. Like, I love white males. I fucking love the white dudes. Okay. Sure. And especially if they're like, you know, I hope Alex listens to this. Alex Blake, a perfect example of what I'm talking about. He is like conservative, rich, and hot as fuck, educated.
Why are you saying his full name?
Oh, okay, Alex. Well, no, I mean, you gotta like maybe cut that out. But like Alex B. Can you cut that, or do I have to say it all over?
I can. It's up to you.
Because I can't really say it all
fine.
over. That was a genuine one. But that's an example of what I'm talking about. You know, like he is hot, and it's because he is confident.
Sure.
Doesn't give a shit about what people think about his political beliefs. He somehow got through college, not becoming out a liberal. And I think that's a big problem right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big fucking problem. And I think that's where a lot of this issue stuff is stemming from.
Right.
Okay. I think it's a mix of people. I don't think it's just like the unconfident white, you know, men. I think it's a good portion of that, but I also think it's people who just like have a big public presence, who want a virtue signal, who just want to let people know that this is how they think and how good they're doing for
live a double life.
Live a double life. Because you know what, they, you know, for example, like some of the CEOs at companies I've worked for, like your company is successful built on the fact that you were able to be successful in the capitalist market. That is capitalism. Capitalism has allowed you and your company to make you millions of fucking dollars.
Right.
Millions, billions. Google, for example, like, oh, we're so like, you know, and that's even starting to come out, you know, and people were enraged when that guy, you know, voiced his opinion about like this diversity
and
stuff.
And he was absolutely right.
And he was absolutely right.
Fucking right. Girls and guys are different, and they usually want, and obviously there's exceptions, but just because there's exceptions doesn't mean, like, okay, like there's got to be a better analogy, but like there's got to be a good analogy, but maybe I'm too fucking scattered right now. But like just because there are exceptions, of course we're generalizing, but well, yeah, we have to fucking generalize. In life, we have to generalize.
But if you look at statistics of stuff, like, for example, I do mostly sales recruiting in my career, throughout my career, right?
Okay.
So it's always been like a hard thing to get more women in sales.
Why is that?
Because it is a very demanding, high pressure, high anxiety, time consuming job that requires someone to be very direct, very straightforward, be able to have hard conversations, overcome objections, right? It's just a very, very vocal job where you have to present.
You have to answer your phone at 3:00 in the morning. You have to be on the phone with India at 6:00 in the morning.
There's no work-life balance in sales, okay? But you're paid that amount of money. I mean, I recruit people who make like they're throwing money in the bank and laughing at like $300,000, $400,000, like a lot of money, okay?
Right.
And it is just a job where for every like 30 dudes I come across who are like qualified sales reps, I probably come across 2 female, and that's because it's a systematic thing, right? Like I can't go back to women at birth and tell them you should be in sales growing up. Like I can't do that,
right?
Like, and I think women just like prefer other jobs. Like for example, like most customer success teams in a software organization are predominantly female because
what's a customer success team?
So a customer success manager are responsible for the health of an account. So if a software company signs a customer, right, they would be responsible after the deal has closed, the contract is signed for however much money, and they would handle the relationship building, making sure that the account is happy, the customers are like healthy, they're using the platform, mitigating any risk, and taking that risk back to the salesperson and being like
gossiping. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, here's like what you need to do. It's just more of a support role. So I think that is, you know, very telling. Look at nursing. Look at nursing, how it is a woman-dominated field.
But that does not mean
there are exceptions.
But that doesn't mean there aren't exceptions. And it also doesn't mean, like I was saying back to the Batman and Robin analogy, someone's got to be fucking Robin.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be. And not just that, Batman needs Robin, but also, like, Robin wanted to be fucking Robin. Like, I never saw any episode of Batman where, like, Robin's like, fuck this cape, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I could be this bitch. I've never even
seen any Batman episodes.
You know what I mean? Like, we have, okay, Jerry Seinfeld talks about it. When you look at the bees, worker bees, queen bees, guys who guard the door, like, there's a bunch of different jobs. Mm-hmm. And bees never look at worker bee never looks at the guys who guard the door like, fuck this fucking guy who guards the door. I could do that job. They just do their fucking job. And it's not about keeping someone in that fucking job. There are exceptions. Congratulations. You're a fucking female MMA fighter. Guess what, bitch? The female MMA fighter looks up to her fucking boyfriend. And not looks up to her like a subservient, but like, my man is the shit. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, you got fucking muscles? Like, he's got to be able to be, like, mentally stimulating and interesting and funny and enough of a fucking Batman to keep that bitch interested. And he does so. Just because she's an MMA fighter doesn't mean she doesn't also a girl. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at even dyke relationships, when you, and by the way, I said dyke, get over it. But when you look at lesbian relationships, a lot of that, the more like lipstick lesbians go for like somebody who's tough. Surprise! You need somebody who's a little more masculine. Even if they have a pussy, they're a little more goddamn masculine. So for some reason, there's a balance game going on where the feminine needs the masculine. Not always, but even in gay relationships, there's a bottom and there's a top. There are exceptions, but like two bottoms, you're going to be bored real fucking fast. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about my own relationship. I'm definitely the pants wearer, for sure.
Okay.
But
I guarantee if I had Travis on, stop.
No, he would agree. Well, because I'm the pants wearer, and he would just agrees with everything. I'm just kidding. Sorry, BB. But kind of seriously, like...
Listen, you know I'm not going to just trust you. We would have to have him in.
I mean, you wouldn't know what to talk about with him for 2 hours. Sorry, babe. Love you. He is like a very kind, quiet... very normal.
But that's not pants.
It's not pants.
You think that being non-kind or non-quiet is wearing pants?
I don't think that's wearing pants at all. But
so what do you define as pants?
Just someone who just fucking sticks up for me. And like you said, someone who, like, you know, he sticks up for me and he's there for support when I need him for things.
Okay.
But it's a very, like, normal relationship. Like, we fight rarely, and when we do fight, it's mostly me just being crazy. But he's not like, he's
weird.
Still masculine.
I thought exactly. Let me pause you there. I figured because you have a vagina, we should believe you at all times. I don't know why you're saying now that you get crazy at certain times. That's so strange.
Crazy. Women are very emotional, like highly emotional. If they say they're not, then they're more delusional than they fucking think.
You know what feels good about doing this podcast? I can feel the buttholes puckering across, like, because this podcast is now reaching. There's people in Korea, I guess, listening. Ohio, England. It's going places. By the way, patreon.com/conservative. Give me your pocket money. But what I like is that it is shaking shit up, and I am friends with a lot of like liberal people, and it's just kind of rubbing them. It feels very good. It just feels very good. But I just like it.
But it matters because I'm a woman and I can think this. But no, that's another thing as a woman. Like, you know, my validation, even though I'm a female, like liberal women are just going to be like, oh, she's sick. Like, she just grew up and she's uneducated and she like... Right. You know, grew up in a broken family. You know what? The majority of people, by the way, can't afford to fucking go to college, by the way. So when you call people uneducated, you are literally saying something against what you believe. And you think if I could afford a college, I wouldn't have gone? Do you think I didn't want to go to fucking college and be educated?
Right.
I take college classes, and I've taken them at Deanta for like the last, 2 years now. And I've done exceptionally well. And I've placed in university level courses.
Nice.
But honestly, like, I probably make more fucking money than you do, bitch. Secondly, like, it's because I work hard, and
especially the people who listen to this, they make no money.
I never have to look for a job. Every job that I, jobs that I've left, it's because I've been recruited out by other companies who want me to work for them.
Well, until they find out you're conservative.
Exactly. And
you're going to start
references.
having a harder time.
I know. It's just it's so ridiculous. But you know what? Like, then again, it's just one of those things that is a double standard, you know? It's a double standard. Oh, but I don't matter because I'm uneducated.
Right. Oh, I guess that's a sensitive subject. Someone recently told you that or something? Or?
You know, during the election time, I remember, like, you know, people saying, like, the only people who like, you know, Trump or who are Republican are people who are uneducated or people with, like, daddy issues, which, you know, I do have daddy issues.
Those make for the best females. Like, sorry, those make for the best partners.
I find that, like, utterly disgusting that you would even say that from your high horse. Well, you grew up as a female, pretty wealthy and able to afford to go to college with parents who were in a normal relationship. Right. In a healthy household. Like, lucky, why don't you, like, consider, you should be fucking grateful.
Have you ever heard of Camille Paglia?
No.
You would love Camille Paglia. She's this tiny little dykey little feminist, but like a first wave feminist. She hates all these second, third wave bitches. And she talks a lot about how what they fought for in the first wave feminists, because she was in college in like the late 50s, early 60s. She was coming out of the Doris Day time where they said to females in college, we need to separate the men and the women, and women, you need to have a curfew, right, in order to keep you safe. We need to have a curfew to lock these females down. The guys didn't have a curfew, lock the females down because it was safer. We don't want you to be raped. And Camille Paglia said that first wave feminist said, give us the freedom to be raped, which is a heavy statement. But that's what the first feminist movement was. It was like, would you stop giving me fucking notifications? Jesus Christ, sorry. I hate this computer. She said that's what the first wave of feminists was. And now in third wave feminism,
radical feminism,
they're wanting to like segregate everybody again and have the colleges be the ones in charge. Big daddy government come in and do the protecting.
I wrote a paper on this. It's something, I forget what the title was, but something about the rise of radical feminism, and I talked about, like, you know, Miley Cyrus and her whole feminist thing where she was, you know, doing some like walk or some shit like that. Where
slut walk?
There was a slut walk. Yeah, it was one of those slut walks or something.
Okay.
And then I was comparing that with like Lauryn Hill. You know what Lauryn Hill is like. Yeah. You know, Lauryn Hill has this song lyric that says, "Women shaking their asses half naked with their clothes off, thinking it's a trend."
Right.
Just because you're a woman and consider yourself a feminist, you don't need to fucking do a slut walk.
Right.
You can be, you know, a normal individual who believes that women should. I believe that women can do everything that a man can do should they want to do it. I think the problem is a lot of us like don't have the same ideals and goals, and because we're different, and that's okay. Right. You know, and there are exceptions. Like I know a lot of women CEOs and VPs are VPs of HR and recruiting type stuff, and that's great. And I think that's fucking badass that they went out and they did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want to generalize and make it sound like all women, like, you know, there are women who can do things and they do them. Sure. And they do them well and they're paid well to do them. Right. And like, but
can you really tell me that if you're a female CEO who has never had any kids, and I know a lot of you, not a lot, but some females are out there, I don't want kids. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Your body knows better than your mind. Pay attention. You can tell yourself whatever the fuck you want. You know, somewhere, someone's got to. But the difference is, this is my experience. As a guy, when I'm in a relationship with a female, I have the ability to say, "What the fuck are you talking about?" and then explain to her what she's feeling in a better way, and we kind of fight it out. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm not saying that I never learn anything from a female in a relationship, but I'm saying there is that symbiotic thing where masculine needs feminine, feminine needs masculine, and I get to like shut the fuck up sometimes. But when a female is like gung-ho CEO, I'm gonna just climb the ladder and nobody, there's nobody to say, "Baby, what the fuck are you talking about?" You know what I mean? And then they start believing this stuff, and then all of a sudden, okay, I can't have kids anymore, so I'm just going to adopt a bunch of dogs or cats, and just like that's.
But so what? What if that's just what they want to do? Who cares?
And if it's legit, great. If it's legit.
But I mean, also like.
But here's what I mean by shut the fuck up about that. If it's actually legit, rock and roll. But I know way too many people who lie to themselves on a daily basis. I'm one of those people. Everybody's one of those people. But to like, I mean, how do you really know that's what you actually want?
you really don't. But then, like, you know, I think that I don't get what the bad thing is about. I would love to have a few fucking kids, go to yoga in the day, Whole Foods, drop the kids off at school, clean the house. Everyone who knows me knows I fucking love cleaning. I love cleaning.
It's creepy.
I love cleaning. I love that shit. But it sounds great to never have to fucking work again. It's a shame that we live in a place that's, you know, really, really expensive where that's not even a thing that a lot of people can do anymore, you know. But it's, you know, it's I don't get what sounds so bad about it.
Well, that's what the Proud Boys were talking about when I had one of the Proud Boys on, or one of the Bay Area Proud Boys.
It's actually worse for the men because it's a lot of fucking pressure for a dude to provide and have this whole thing on his back. Yeah, but when we
do you know the balls that we get? Yeah. Nigga, I fucking love that shit.
Which is great, but it's also
love
like...
being a dude. It's so much fun.
You know, I also feel for dudes as well because, like, I also wrote this paper for school about how the lines of sexual consent are very, very blurred. And it's because of these exact things we're talking about. Women are like, no, I don't want to be in a relationship because I want to, like, explore and, like, be, like, sexual. And, like, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Like, I know that's bullshit because I used to play that same thing. It is so hard to not get emotionally attached after having sex.
Whoa.
I cannot have sex with someone. A female
is telling the truth. Do you hear that, girls? You fucking...
I can't. I cannot sleep with someone and not get emotionally fall in love with them. I've thought I've fallen in love with a lot of fucking people. Right. You know, and it's just...
That's what it is. It's guys, and it's most of the time subconscious, sometimes consciously. Guys, in order to get sex, sell love. And girls, in order to get love, sell sex.
I will do anything. I would used to do anything sexually that a guy wanted to do just if I thought he was going to stick around long enough, just if I thought it was going to make him like me and like be my boyfriend.
I had and by the way, that is not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, if a girl really like, stop breaking everything. I had a friend, a female friend, tell me once, like, sometimes I would just fuck a guy just so that he'd hold me. You know what I mean? Like, just to get held for a little while. Now, I'm not saying that may be but
I just don't really care about sex. I'm going to be really honest with you.
Interesting.
I will have it because I know it pleases my BB. Mm-hmm. Not that he's bad at it or anything, but it's just like...
You're really just airing out a bunch of shit.
Well, I mean, it's not. He's great. He's fucking amazing. And he's a very big heart.
Right. Okay.
May want to cut that. I don't know.
No,
anyway,
it's whatever you want. Go.
But that's not what drives me as a person. And some people are like that, and that's okay.
Sure.
I'm not freaky. I really don't care about it. And I think that's because there are other things I care about more, like the emotional part of our relationship, like taking the fucking laundry out of the washer and putting it in the dryer without me asking you. Don't ask me dumb questions. Don't ask me if the laundry in the dryer is dry. Just touch it for yourself. Like, that type of shit is this type of stuff that, like, that's
such a female side of the relationship thing too.
That's just like what I feel is like more. That stuff's way more important to me. And turns me on way more than just the act of having sex.
What do you mean? What turns you on more?
Just like doing things before I ask, like the small things, the emotional things, like giving me a hug.
Oh, I see what it is.
Those are the things.
So here's what's underneath that. Maybe what's underneath that is he sees my needs and provides for my needs, even if they're little needs like okay, I don't have to like watch out for
Don't ask me a dumb question. You did something without me asking, okay?
Sure.
That stuff is way more important to me than sex. Sex is important, but like I'm going to be honest with you.
Right.
Like I just have never ever like I only cared about it when I needed to, like we were talking about, when I needed someone to like me.
Right.
It wasn't that I wanted. It wasn't what I wanted.
Right. And sometimes we'll lie to ourselves, and guys do it in their own way, but females will lie to themselves and say, and lie to the guy, and I think it's subconscious, and say like, no, all I want is sex. But don't worry, in the back of her head, she's like, I'm gonna give him the best sex, and I'm gonna give him gifts.
He's gonna change his mind.
I'm gonna be the one gal. Which I gotta tell you, like I said earlier, I'll fuck most women, right? Once. But like, if you want to stand out, you actually do have to stand out, and a lot of the people on. Sometimes females will just expect, well, but I'm such a good person and I'm me. Like, yeah, but you do. So like, I think going back to that other point, I think that there is something to the idea that like I will do stuff for him to like make him like me. Like, I don't want to date a girl who's not a down ass bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to date a girl who's going to fight me on like being fucking Robin. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want and not just Robin like mentally, but like sexually. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't click, we don't click. You know, I'm not going to try to, you know. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to talk about consent because I was fucking, this is a small point, and I'm not comparing it to rape, girls, but it is a thing that happens. Ready? This is what it is. I have been fucking sleeping, and you douchebags wake me up for morning sex when I've got to get up in an hour.
Ugh, morning sex is so gross.
Thank you. But I have literally
breath
woken.
Smells.
Yes, and your ass smell like
and
everything.
You're thirsty. I don't want to suck a dick when it's like my fucking breath smells and I'm thirsty. It's just, and then like everything just smells and it's like.
But I have had females while I'm asleep start jerking me off, and I'm like, would you? Like, you are literally molesting me right now. Now I'm hard, and you expect me, like, I need to get up. Do you know, it's hard for me to go back to bed, and now I'm, like, forced to fuck you now? Like, my dick is now leading me, but I didn't make my dick get hard to fuck you. You manipulated my penis into this. It's self-centered fucking shit.
It's really annoying, morning sex.
Me too.
But also,
Do you need to do something on your phone?
No, I just was double checking my calendars to make sure I don't have anything.
Okay.
I don't, which is great. So I'm probably going to go home after this so I don't sit in fucking traffic and go work in San Jose office. Oh. But do you know what? I wrote another paper on this as well, where because of women wanting to not be in a relationship, right? And because they want to be like this, I don't need to be in a relationship. I could just, be single and like fuck a bunch of guys. There's this really blurred line for men where it's like, especially those in college who are put in precarious situations where it's hard to tell like what that is, because women want to sleep around, but yet you push, you engage in someone and it seems like that's what they want.
Right.
And then you give it to them, but then it's like, you push me to do it. Right. Rape is rape. And like, let me ask you this question, Pete. I would love to know what you think about it. If I'm blacked out drunk, I have been blacked out drunk and with another male who's been blacked out drunk and we fucked. I remember like calling him by a different name, thinking he was someone else. How fucked up I was. I swore I was with one guy, but I was with another. I remember him saying, what? But that's all I remember.
Okay.
Is it rape? To me, maybe I'm fucked up in the mind. My answer is no, because I was fucked up drunk and so was fucking he. Right. And that's really worrying to me. And I really fear for like my kids, their generation. I fear for my nephews. I have 2 like really white boy nephews and I have 3 nephews and they're all boys, and I really feel for them because I worry that you know, they're going to have a tough time. And it's unfortunate and it's scary to me that we're willing to like fuck up people's marriages and their life and all the hard work they did up to that point to get to where they are, who are probably really decent people.
Right.
And it makes me really sad that we ignore the fact on the other side that like there are a lot of these things going on with females and especially female teachers and students. Right. You know what I mean? They're just completely annoyed.
You cannot be a female between the ages of 23 and 36 and a teacher. You cannot be a female teacher and not fuck a 14-year-old boy. And yet we're completely ignoring that. Much more teachers fuck students than assholes in Hollywood rape and molest. But we're not fucking touching that. Much more black guys in gangs kill black guys in gangs by the fucking millions, and yet we don't touch that because a cop was like a little too fucking hopped up, and obviously there's exceptions. There's that one video of that chick who shot that guy in the back. That's not fucking right. He was standing there. He didn't have his hands were in the air, and she shot him in the back. That's not right. But there are lots of exceptions where like, oh, black guy, white cop. Obviously, the guy had nothing wrong. I watched the Alton Sterling video. I fucking made sure. This is one of the first things. I sat down and watched the video over and over and over and took notes. Alton Sterling was, I'm not saying he deserved to die. He did not deserve to die.
We have to obey the cops.
Stop fucking fighting the goddamn cops. Yes, you did have a goddamn gun in your fucking pocket.
And did you see his track record?
Yeah. Like, You can't tell me, like...
Didn't you have warrants? Sorry, I'm eating a donut.
But what I'm saying, yeah, it goes back to that idea, like the white men, the black men, the Mexican men, the people I know in prison. Like, all I'm saying is, to that point anyway, Black Lives Matter does not care about black lives. They care about getting rid of cops. Mm-hmm. They care about controlling the government as a whole.
Yeah, why do you think gun control is such a big
Feminists
topic?
Don't care really about women. They just want to control. They just want control. Yeah. And I understand. Here's the other thing to that point you were talking about of like why we're seeing a lot of more these feminists going like I'm free and I can do anything I want because there's security in it. The problem is when you grab your lady balls and you trust being a Robin, you can get hurt. And girls don't want to be hurt. And guys don't want to be hurt either. But we have different ways of getting around getting hurt.
Yeah, but we're getting hurt anyways.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry, this is a really good donut.
Well, yeah, I'm amazing. Well, I didn't make it, but I bought it.
From Starbucks. You could have done better. But it's appreciated.
Yeah. But that's like... I just feel like from what I see, I know a couple of like happy women who are happy being women, mm-hmm. and they know that they're not marginalized. Like I was talking about on another episode, like when I was doing Uber and a couple of white girls in San Francisco, I picked them up
in the marina.
Yeah. No, I think it was downtown. This happened many times. And these bitches just yakking about something and on their phone and just da. Like, and I had this ringing clear thought. I realized nothing about these women is marginalized. Nothing about these women is shat upon in society. Oh. You poor fucking things. And the same thing, by the way, I've had black girls get in my fucking car. I've had lots of, when I was doing, like, I know people, like, you're not fucking marginalized. You're in America. Shit is fucking great here. Shit is so fucking good here. And it's because of capitalism. And it's because of stupid ass white men. I was listening to the fucking Rogan podcast where he was talking about, he was talking to Tim Kennedy. And Tim Kennedy does this show where he explores these different really dangerous jobs. And even something as small as men, mostly, obviously I'm sure there's like one or two women, who do the dangerous catch, deadliest catch, right? They're out there getting the wild caught fish that Whole Foods you can just pick up real quick. They're dying lots of them, they're staying up for 12, 14 hours, getting these fucking out there in huge swells of waves, again, put the thing down in there, get just for like wild-caught scallops and wild-caught fish, just to bring it back to you, and you're saying, "Oh, white man, I just the devils." Bitch, give me back my fucking salmon then. These motherfuckers are out there, like... Patrice O'Neill talked about it. It's like, I want a little bit of credit. Like, you can't just, like... You can't, like... A little bit of credit for the fact that, like, we're doing something. Like, we're not all pieces of shit. Like, not just we're all pieces of shit, but, like, we're all contributing things. And for these assholes, these ungrateful, douchey assholes to just constantly ring the bell of just bad, bad white men, bad, bad, like, you don't know life. You just don't fucking know life.
And that's another thing. They just assume that all white men are privileged.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like, there are some things I realized because of my relationship with BB that Travis that do suck. Okay, let me explain something to you. So,
okay,
when I got in a relationship with him, it wasn't until that, you know, we moved in with each other that I realized how privileged he grew up. But it doesn't matter, you know, privilege doesn't matter, like, care
it's not
what
race. It's not race related. Right.
And I'll tell you what the frustrating thing is. Okay, like, and here's a big difference between, you know, me and him. And this is something I found out when we were in the basement. We were going through stuff that we needed to, like, get rid of, right? And he has, like, all these really cool toys and, like, all the, you see our house, like, he has all these really cool things and knickknacks that his mom saved, like, all of his schoolwork, that all of his, like, awards, even though they were just, like, participation, like, awards, but still, like, she saved all of these things. And I got fucking pissed about it. I got really mad. I'm like, it's just not fair. You know, and I still get pretty emotional talking about it because I just had such a fucked up childhood.
Right.
You know, and I wish that I could have had those things, but I didn't.
Right.
You know, and I can't be mad at someone for having those things. And I hate, like, being emotional about it. Sorry.
That's fine. No.
But it just, like, you know, it's frustrating because, like, everyone talks about fair share and everyone talks about what's fair, right? And, like, he didn't ask to be raised in a privileged family. He didn't be asked to be born into, like, a privileged family.
Right.
That's just the situation.
Right.
And you know what? It's hard for people to get out of that. Like, if you grew up poor like I did, like, it's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole.
Definitely.
But my mom did. My mom owns a house. She owns a car. She worked for the county for a long time.
Right.
You know, my father, like, was homeless on the streets of San Francisco for many years. I didn't even meet him till I was, like, 11. Right. But he owns a house in Pacifica. He has a company. He's worked so hard to get there. So, like, I know it's possible. Like, even myself, like, I'm very proud of, like, what I've accomplished and where I work and my work ethic, because it gives me satisfaction to know, like, I can do these things and I don't need to do them, you know, and I do them because, like, I work hard and I get these opportunities mostly because of it. You know, I truly believe that. And
because you worked hard.
Because I worked really hard.
Right.
And, like, I think that's, like, where we, in our relationship, where we differ the most. Like, I throw shit away. I am not attached to material things. I don't really give a shit that much about clothes. Like, I don't really give a shit that much about makeup. I don't. You know, it's just, you know, I like video games. I like different things. But that's not, like, because I'm, you know, it's not because I'm trying to be someone I'm not. It's just what I like. And I think we get a lot of these things caught up in the mix. Right. Like, you can like certain things and be female and be male, like that. You know, it's not a matter of, like, what we like and don't like. It's just a matter of, like, what your beliefs are and if they are actually relied upon, like, the reality of life or, like, feelings that you think you feel. Right. And, you know, again, going back to, like, our generations and our kids' generations, what have you, I also feel bad for them because it's not like it was before where you had, like, a 2-parent household and you could, you know, have one person afford to not work.
Right.
Like a lot of these older generations have properties that they own that they pass down to their kids.
Right.
And a lot of that's not going to happen.
Right.
Like for us.
Right.
Right. I can't. Could you buy a house here?
No.
No.
But I mean, at the same time, one of the things Tim Kennedy said actually on that podcast was, tough times create good men. And good men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create tough times. And we just go round and around and around. The other thing I was thinking about to that point of privilege, LeBron James's kids are privileged. They didn't work. They didn't play basketball for years and years and become the best, one of the best players of all fucking time. So, but they have black skin. Mm-hmm. So if we extrapolate the logic that these leftists want, where do we draw the line of who gets the privilege? Right? It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, and you can't fix the problem by giving people more social goods that are in the lower portion.
Right. Because then we get people like my that 60-year-old evil piece of shit. And like perfect child of God, but holy shit.
I don't think we spend enough time talking about like the solutions of. I see a lot of people talking, but not a lot of solutions on how we can make America a place where hardworking people can thrive.
Right.
Who want to thrive. How do you do that?
Right.
How do you do that?
I know from my personal experience.
Lowest interest rates, better economy, more jobs, more demand.
But like I'm working like a son of a bitch on this podcast. I'm working like a son of a bitch on my album. Yes, both ventures are very expensive and very time consuming, and it feels very futile at times, and I feel fucking hopeless sometimes, and I get fucking frustrated because, computer's not working, or the fucking, the parking's literally $7 a fucking hour. You know what I mean? Like, all kinds of crazy shit happens. But I come on here and I have a good time on these things. And I know that people are enjoying them. So again, this is capitalism at fucking work. I'm paying my fucking dues. And I can't say, hey, government, pay for my podcast. Hey, government, give me things free. Because the other thing is that you can make all the memes about, I just want to stay at home all day. You're a loser. I see these memes all the fucking time about like, I just, and it's funny. Hey, I'm a millennial and I like to just spend all day in bed. You're a loser. You're a loser. You're not as fuckable as someone who's working hard. You're not as fuckable. You're not, and that's nature. All these fucking leftists very much believe in atheism and evolution. I'm not saying I don't, but like, that's fucking nature. That's fucking evolution. I don't want to fuck somebody who's a loser. Mm-hmm. I fucking went to this girl's house and she was fucking disgusting. Her room was disgusting. And I don't give a fuck if, I have a diagnosis. Like, okay, great. I'm not going to keep seeing you. Like, it doesn't matter if you have the back door of I have a diagnosis, or you have the back door of like, well, I have a hard life. Tough shit. Like, I need to that's part of the reason why I'm losing weight, is because I realize like, I need to be a better man. I need to be a better partner. Guy. I need to be a better, entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be, and when I crossed that 30 threshold, I was like, oh shit, it's real. You know what I mean? And I'd been ramping up through all my 20s, but once I crossed that, I was like, oh shit, like it's
ramping up.
I actually do.
That's what you call it. You were ramping up.
Yeah, nigga, I was ramping the shit up. I needed to have all that other experience.
I remember seeing you at Bart, like, playing music. It was really awkward.
Well, because you fucking carry a cloud of awkwardness everywhere you go.
I know.
But, yeah, I needed to do that.
But yeah, you were doing it.
Yeah. That's what, I mean, that doing that shit, even though it was time-consuming and it was, whatever, I learned it was too early for me to just try to do that all the time, right? Not just that, but doing that got me to where I am today. Because the guy who invited me on the podcast, on the first podcast I was co-host of, met me at Bart. So if I hadn't played in Bart, I wouldn't be where literally, not just like ethereally and like, abstractly, but like literally, I would not have a podcast right now if I hadn't played at Bart for fucking years.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What do you feel about, or how do you feel about having your dream job making music, like blah, 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 doing what you love to do versus just giving in and making money? At what point?
You're not going to recruit me.
I'm just saying. Because here's my thought. Like, everyone's like, do you like being a recruiter? I'm like, I didn't fucking wake up one day and be like, I'm going to be a recruiter. Right. Honestly, it's a draining job. It's very demanding. It's fun. It pays well.
Fun. So you do enjoy it, though?
I enjoy it.
Okay.
I enjoy it a lot. Because I recruit lower level salespeople, which are really chill to talk to. But anyways, everyone's like, well, what do you love to do? I'm like, nothing. What I love to do is play video games and sit on the fucking couch.
Right. But you can't get paid for that.
You can't get paid for that. And I don't, no one when I grew up ever asked me, like, what do you want? I'm just not artistic. Right. I'm just not, I have really bad ADHD. So I'm just like a doer. You give me a fucking task, I can do it. Like, that's why I like to clean and organize shit. I think that's part of being a female, but also like, I'm very good. Like this office, there's a lot I could do to like make it better and more organized. That shit up there, I want to get rid of that Pellegrino. I saw it when I got here. That whiteboard's crooked. Like you could easily hang it. But anyways, like,
it's homey.
It's homey. I do like it. It just like needs some like
patreon.com/conservative.
But yeah, I mean, but it's just like, I just want to fucking make money, do my job, and go the fuck home.
Right.
And if it's not making me money,
but there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with that. So what I'm doing right now, this is part of my journey. You know what I mean? And the other thing is that I have to, I do enjoy doing this podcast, even though it's draining me of my lifeblood. It is, I do enjoy the fuck out of it. When I had that last episode that I did, I did not like that episode. And I felt like I missed, I was just like, oh, I miss doing it. You know what I mean? I want to come back here and talk more shit. You know what I mean? I want to come in here. You know what I mean? So this is what I love to do. But I also know, through experience and patience and hard work, I'm a completely different performer today than I was even 6 months ago, even a year ago, especially than I was five years ago. And so, but if I hadn't gone through the time of ups and downs and playing for free and, all the bullshit, I wouldn't be where I am now. Right. So I guess what's the main thing you're asking?
At what point is your dream job like just not a reality?
When I suck. And I don't. But there are a lot of people who, especially in the rap community, who don't think that they suck, but do. And so they keep their head down. I'm doing the grind. I'm doing my struggle. And I'm like, cutie pie, like you suck ass. But at the same time, they're supporting themselves somehow. Or mommy is or something. But, I mean, that's what, But for me, this is making me enough money, and I've gotten better and better money out of it and gotten better and better exposure and gotten better and better. Like,
Where are your parents?
I have one out in the Stockton area, and then I have one in the San Jose area.
What are they like? Do you ever see them?
Of course. Yeah.
It's weird because I feel like in our friend life, like a lot of us never really talk about like our families and stuff. Right. So I realize I know fucking nothing about you and how you grew up and what your family's like.
Right.
Are you only child?
No, I have 3 brothers.
Older? That's right. Your brother was on
here. Yeah, 1 older and 2 younger.
Okay.
Yeah, my brother Will was on here. We're 6 days less than a year apart. Did you listen to that episode?
No.
The fuck is
I listened to like part of Jake's. I listened to Allie's because it's in a plane. Right. It's good. I listened to some of Jake's, some of Trinity's. She's so funny, but not all of it.
Right. Well, Will's is very like disgusting, but like fun, but like disgusting. He listens. He's for some reason he really likes the podcast. So
Why do you do that?
What do I do? What?
Like for some reason, why can't he just fucking like it if he likes it?
All right. Don't
stop self-loathing.
It's not self-loathing.
That's not self-loathing.
It's also funny.
That's like
self-deprecation.
Self-deprecation.
Yes. I was walking by. So you want to stop right at 9, right?
What time is it?
8:41.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Okay. So about 9 is when we should probably wrap up. So I wanted to talk about this. This is not a good segue.
Okay.
It's a little heavy. Abortion's actually really shitty, I think.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to the idea of females all, like, a woman's right to choose,
mm-hmm.
a lot of sides on the left these days, or a lot of people on the left these days, are marching to the song of all women believe this, when apparently around 50% of females in the United States are not down with abortion. So what do we do with the 50%? Just like the get out the vote thing. What do we do with that? What is their plan for the 50% who don't like abortion?
What is the plan? I mean, here's the deal with abortion. I think you should get fucking one for fucking up once, and that's it. And should not be used as a mean of birth control. Everyone should get one abortion.
Okay. Should get what you mean are allowed to
get one abortion.
Everyone mandated one abortion. No.
You get one fuck up. Okay, because abortion is not a means of birth control. How fucking hard is it to get on a pill? How hard is it to put on how fucking hard? I have a chip in my arm. Mm-hmm. I don't even need to take a pill every day. This shit's in here for 3 fucking years. Right. How hard is it to do that?
Right.
And I feel like the 50% who are marching are not even people who have either gotten abortions or have gotten a abortion. Nobody's gonna take away your right to abortion, but it's fucking disgusting if you're having a good more than even 2, 3. It's gross. What the fuck is wrong with you where you can't take a fucking pill?
Well, the other thing is,
and who's paying for it?
Right. Well, the other thing is,
sorry, it just makes me really annoyed because it's not hard to take a fucking pill or put a chip in your arm.
Well, some people say, some of the females say that there's a lot of hormone stuff.
Really?
With the pill stuff anyway. Yeah, apparently it fucks people up.
Well, there's other methods.
Right, there's IUD.
But then there's a whole male birth control. Oh my fucking God, dude. Right.
Well, the thing is I think that exact thing goes to the idea that the females don't want any, they think that human struggle means it's just female struggle because we've let you guys just completely. So you want a right to abort
babies as much as you want. Good for you, feminists. Good for you. Do you realize how that sounds? We want our abortions. You want your fucking abortions. You want
so check this
you're
out.
Screaming for this.
So check this out.
Wow.
I'm starting to get. This is a little much. I'm starting to get more pro-life. Because I've been pro-choice because I just figured, that's what we all do, march. But I've started to think more about it, and I'm not saying, I said on a podcast a few podcasts ago, fine, kill your baby, bitch, but call it a baby. It is when they do past, I think it's 20 weeks, when they do past 20-week abortions, gross. They are literally clamping down on body parts and dragging them out of the uterus. They are literally crushing a baby's skull. It's not just, this is a mass of cells. It's just a mass of cells. No, they are literally piling up body parts next to the spec. You know what I mean? Do you understand? That's literally the shit that's going on, number one. And number two, this whole idea of, well, what about women who are, okay, all right, so say we do allow that. So what about the other ones? And apparently it's literally less than 1% of abortions are because of rape.
What about the men who, accidentally got you pregnant but want you to abort the baby?
Right.
Well, you know what I mean? If you're responsible to let someone put your fucking dick in your vagina, you're responsible enough to wear a condom or take birth control. It's not that hard. And it's you're talking about hormones for birth control. Are you kidding me? Abortion, whether it be the pill method or they actually go in and take it out, is so bad for your body and your hormones and your emotions.
Right.
Okay. I've made a mistake once and something happened and I'm at no point in my life to be able to raise or take care of a baby, and I'm selfish and I want to live my life.
Right.
And I made that mistake once and it was an awful experience, and I took this pill and it was so disgusting for your body, and it just felt, it really fucked me up for a while. And, like, I felt really bad for this dude, too, because he, like, really wanted to keep this baby. I'm like, motherfucker, you're crazy. Like, no way. Like, I'm crazy. Like, you don't want a child, you know, and I made that mistake.
It fucked you up. Not just emotionally, physically too?
Physically, yeah.
What were the physical ramifications?
Like, you just have this, like, very heavy, intense period for a few days, and it, like, just fucking comes out. Okay. And I caught it very early on. Okay. So you have itchy nipples. It's like a very good sign that you're pregnant. Okay. But, like, I made that mistake, and I had to do that once, and I, like, said, never fucking again am I ever, like, gonna do that. That was, like, my one thing. Right. So, yeah, I am, like, you should, like, be, you know, from that perspective, before, like, yeah, I'm definitely pro-choice. It makes sense. Like I'm saying, like, everyone makes a mistake, but if you're making multiple mistakes, like, there's something wrong with you if you see that as a form of birth control, because when I did it, it was, like, one of the, like, most heart-wrenching things. And I don't know if it was,
it was emotionally affecting as well.
Because it's a big decision. Like, imagine, like, you know, you being a dude, you get someone pregnant, right? Then you have to go to the doctor with this person. You have to make a decision, a really big decision that's going to change your life and this other person's, right? And it's never the same.
Not to mention the babies.
And then you're thinking all of these thoughts leading up to it, and you can only do an abortion between a certain time, right? I caught mine early, so I had to wait another full month before I was even able to, like, take these pills. Wow. So that whole month of, like, back and forth of, like, is this, like, the right thing to do? And it wasn't necessarily for me the thought that the baby is, like, a person. It was more of, like, wow, like, I can't believe, like, I'm an adult and I put myself in this situation with some guy that, like, am not even, like, serious about. Right. Like, well, I'm a fucking awful person for that, and here's a consequence of my action. So if anyone, I don't understand how people could say it's like an easy thing, or like, oh, but, like, what are you fighting for? You know?
Yeah, they're flipping about it. I don't know. The Lena Dunhams who's like, I wish I had an abortion. Like, how dare you?
Well, you'll never get fucked. So, like, literally, don't worry. Like, she's so awful.
Frumpy bitch.
She's so ugly. Oh my gosh. It's like,
I'm allowed to look like I look, and then you're not allowed to tell me I'm not fuckable. Yes, we are.
That's a thing. It's like, what, you want to date you want to, like, be fucked by a doctor and date a doctor, but you're fat and overweight. Right. But then also it's like, I hate this whole, like, curvy movement. I'm curvy. You're fucking fat, bitch. Like, you're not curvy. You are not curvy. Stop stuffing that burrito down your throat. Lose some fucking weight. Hit the gym, dude. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, as a fat guy, I gotta tell you, for a long time, I thought, like, I'm doing everything I can, and I just can't. Like, I was not. I tried millions of different diets, and almost all of them, I did not even follow them. You know, understand what, like, I would sneak here, or I would sneak there, or I wouldn't exercise, or I wouldn't do this. I would not, like, it's fucking science most of the time. Obviously, some people have just, more, like, hypothyroidism, or, like, there's all kinds of, like, exceptions to the rule, but, like, you put less calories in, then you burn. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of science.
It doesn't really matter what you eat as long as you're, like, significantly under your calorie intake for your weight.
Right. But it doesn't feel good as pizza. It really doesn't. Nothing. I mean, obviously I feel good now, but, like, shit, pizza feels good. Motherfucker, pizza feels good.
But pizza's always been good. And you know what? So is bacon. I don't understand why everyone's, like, on a hype about, like, how fucking awesome, like, pizza and bacon is. I'm like, pizza and bacon have been fucking awesome. Like, why are people just having this, like,
I like
social
how it took
revelation?
Us 37 seconds to get from abortion to bacon.
You do get hungry when you're pregnant. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just, like, you know, I just don't understand, like, they want choice to abortion, but, like,
here's what I think it goes back to.
Choice.
Right, but here's what I think it goes back to. Remember how we were talking about the responsibility thing before? Ben Shapiro brings up an interesting point. I'm not saying I fucking all the way am pro-life or anything like that, but Ben Shapiro brings up an interesting point in that idea of, it's my body. Hang on. Not you, but, like, hang on, feminist. The thing growing inside you is not, I mean, it is inside of you, You know what I mean? It is relying on you for food, but like it is a separate thing. You know what I mean? Like it's a heavy decision. Mm-hmm. But like for people like Lena Dunham to just, or people like that, where it's just like, there are some people who think literally up until the point where the baby's about to come out, you should be allowed to, like, up to 9 months abort. Just because they want to leave the door open for rape, I guess, rape abortion or incest abortion, like, or 20-week, they want to kick the door open all the way up to, like, you're 9 months to term, and we can still kill the thing that's inside you.
There's got to be something behind it. Someone's making money off of it, and that's how these things
Actually, abortion doctors do make money off of it.
Of course they do. Planned Parenthood.
Right.
I mean, there's something behind it, and that's what I feel like the motive behind a lot of, like, Democrat policies are. Like, and even conservative policies definitely as well. Like, there's a reason behind why people want to put these laws in place. And if you think it's for the good of the people and because we want to be, like, social, you're fucking dumb. Open your eyes.
But all these kids who listened to Rage Against the Machine in the 90s who were like, rah, rah, right? Let's take down government. Now all of a sudden these people want more government because they guess that now that the Democrats are in power instead of Bush, they're like, oh, no, more government. Now we can trust the government because it's a black guy. Or now we can trust the government if we put a chick with a pussy in there. Then we can trust the government. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like, the same, Hillary went through all the same jumping of disgusting, creepy political hoops that Obama did and Trump did, and, well, maybe not Trump, but that Obama did and Bernie did and all these other motherfuckers. I hate
Hillary Clinton so fucking much. Yeah. And if you're a feminist out there and you like Hillary Clinton and think she's some, like, radical, like, feminist who's just, like, so great, you're fucking dumb also, because why? Okay, first of all, like, you think it's okay that she stayed with Bill Clinton after Monica Lewinsky and all these other ladies, and then you're, like, blasting this fucking guy who just got elected into Senate for some of the same shit, when, like, Bill Clinton literally, didn't he get head in the White House?
Yeah, not just that, but actually
Jennifer Flowers, like, all of these different
who's
people.
That other god damn it, something with a J, son of a bitch. People are screaming, oh,
Juanita
Broderick. So Juanita Broderick actually had corroboratable evidence. She had people who picked her up. There was a chick who picked her up when she had, like, literally, torn clothes and shit, like, and who said, like, right afterwards, I was just in a fucking hotel room with fucking Bill Clinton, who's running for office, like, and this motherfucker did this shit to me. Like, there's a immediate witness, like, right, obviously they didn't see the act, but, like, took her to the doctor and shit, like, and, like, it wasn't just this 32 years ago, I had this vague memory of this thing that happened, but I definitely know it's this guy, and no one can corroborate, and here's 4 witnesses, and none of them can fucking corroborate. It was multiple people for Juanita Broderick. Juanita Broderick has a much more of a believable story than Blasey Ford, but...
And apparently, like, Hillary was pretty awful to these individuals as well. And she
did not believe all women.
And then, like, how does everyone just ignore the fact that she did absolutely have a server where she sent confidential emails and somehow BlackBerries are destroyed? These are not theories. These are not conspiracy theories.
Right.
These
but
are
black guys,
real
but
things.
Here's the thing, Danny. Black guys made jokes about it on SNL, so we can now just wipe our hands clean and just say, see, silly right-wingers are all mad about emails. Haha, they're so silly.
But there is
Thanks, Trevor Noah.
So much corrupt stuff in there, and the emails are available for everyone to see. I mean, you can see the emails.
Yeah.
You can go on Judicial Watch and look at them yourself, but you can't turn the other way. Like, it is the Hillary Clinton Foundation, like 80% of it was not used for actual donations. Right. There's, like, so much, like, how could you turn your cheek to that stuff? And, like, I just don't understand. Like, I mean, Republicans do bad things too. Sure. Like, of course. Right. Like, Trump can be pretty fucking annoying. Like, in all honesty, I'm just like, shut up already, you know?
Stop
but, like,
tweeting.
But, like, I kind of like that he does that though, because he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he is a little.
But like, it's just one of the, and like when that voice, that recording of him about grabbing by the pussy came out.
Oh my God.
He did not deny it though. You know what?
Right.
And right the fuck on, because every guy, I know so many people out there who are liberals who are like, ugh, I can't believe that and blah blah. I'm like, I've heard you say the same exact fucking thing. Yes! I've heard you say worse, dude. I've heard you say and do worse, but it's like, you know, I'm so proud of him for like actually being like, yeah, you know what? That was gross. I said that. It was years ago.
Right.
Sorry.
And plus he was fucking joking. Whether he was a creep or not, and I do think he's a creep, but like in that instance, if we're gonna nail somebody to the cross for that instance, all of you cocksuckers are fucking guilty. All of you listening to this have said foul ass jokes. All of you listening to this, when you get a couple of gay guys in a car, oh my God, I sucked the shit out of his dick. When you get a couple of females in the car, stop. You're liars. You joked the same way. And he said, they let you. So even in his joke, he added consent. Yeah. You fucking liars. But I literally had an ex, like literally like, oh my God. He said that he sexually assaults, and now he's in the White House.
How is it sexual assault, though?
Well, it's apparently a sexual assault to make a fucking joke. Like, you can hate the motherfucker, but the principle is more important than the personality. And the principle of someone saying a goddamn joke that literally was in private, but saying a fucking joke that even included consent, if the principle of that precludes, like, keeps him away from office, then nobody has any availability to make any fucking... You think Barack Obama never said, damn, that bitch got a fine ass fucking... Like, stop.
Barack Obama, like, literally did nothing for 8 years in office. Like, the economy, and people blame it on Republicans, and people blame it.
But he's black.
I do like that song, My President is Black. What is that rap song? I don't know. It's a good one. Jake would know it.
What is that rap song? You're very white. You're ruining the microphone.
My nose is really cold.
What?
It's cold in here.
Well, I didn't do it.
I'm a space heater. Anyway. Sexist of you to not fuck. It's sexist for you to have.
Yeah, did you see that one?
A cold room. Okay.
Anyway, anyways. it is 8:58.
I mean, we can be done if you want to be done.
Yeah, I think the other guy's gonna. Well, he's not here yet, but he's gonna come in soon. Anyway.
Anything else? Any other questions you have? Anything else that I didn't answer that I could answer for you today? Closing statement.
Well, I guess what would be? Do you see yourself as a valid woman?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
What do you mean by what is valid women to you?
Well, exactly. So you're a valid woman. You're an individual who believes certain things from your experience.
Yeah.
So what would be, I guess, instead of just fuck off, what would be your message to those who would say you're not allowed to believe the things that you believe?
Wow. Heavy. You're not allowed to believe the things that you believe.
Well, a lot of people don't want you to believe the things that you believe.
I would say that that's hypocritical, and that's the exact opposite of what you're trying to fight for, especially feminist. You're trying to fight for women to like be like forward thinkers and be like individuals, yet you're trying to tell me that I should think only like you, and if I don't think like you, that I'm wrong. Do you not see like the hypocrisy in that?
Right.
And also in other news, you know, when you shame people who have different views than you, it can be really hurtful. And especially if it's all day, every day. And yet you like advocate for non-bullying and, you know, people to be accepted, but yet you don't accept me.
Right.
It has kept me away from people. It has kept me away from like a spiritual program thing that I needed to be doing for myself. And that's my fault that I let it get there. But, like, you need to know, like, these things are hurtful to constantly have you, like, be shaming me for being myself. And, you know, and I'm guilty of it, too. However, it's like, we're allowed to be different. And since when did it become cool to follow the crowd? Since when did the popular opinion become the only opinion that you can follow? What's so wrong with like thinking differently? What's so wrong with like being honest and like telling on yourself?
Right.
And I guess like, you know, keep that in mind, you know, and I need to do the same thing, right? It's not about like what's right and wrong and who's thinking right and who's thinking wrong. I don't think anybody ever got into a political debate and was able to really change anyone's mind, but like, why can't we all just like coexist and have our differences, but also be respectful and try and hear one another out? I don't see like, I think like we lost a lot of that because of technology.
Sure.
And because of social media. And also I think that we gave everyone a voice, right? And like, and that's a great thing, but it also is like really harming our society.
But I think there are a growing number of people who trust the process enough to unplug from social media. There are a growing number of people who trust the process enough to let other people, like, to be like super friends, where everybody has their own job and everybody, like, I have my beliefs and my vote. I have my vote, and everybody trusts the process. There are a growing amount of people who do that, and they may not be in the media, but otherwise people wouldn't be listening to this podcast, and it wouldn't be growing the way it has if people weren't like, oh, someone is believing differently. Someone is offering I hate the word platform, but someone is offering a platform to the idea that things are not that bad, and things are not that important, and politics are not that important, and it was just a conversation. It's just jokes. It's just, you know.
Yeah, I think that it's getting better.
Anyway. Yeah.
Wait till the next election cycle coming up here. It's about to get ugly again. And I think I'm honestly worried. I'm worried for like generations to come. I really am. I really hope we can come together as a country and pull this shit together because.
Well, I know from my vote, not just I have my vote and you have your vote. I know that, you know, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb, and I'm going to keep doing
it. Keep doing it.
Regardless of my identity, you know, regardless of, you know, whatever. I you know, there's enough people who understand that this is not that big a deal. And everybody's kind of fine. I mean, even on my last episode, I had a very liberal chick who actually thought you shouldn't be allowed to make rape jokes if you're a straight white male. I don't know why she spun white.
Go to hell.
Yeah. Thank you. But, you know, at the same time, I didn't have to like stop her and let's really like dig into this, because it's just a conversation. And it's just, she's a human being just like you're a human being.
Yeah. Everyone has their point of view.
Right.
You know? But think about if you had a white son. Just think about it, everybody. Think about if you had a child who is a white male.
Right.
Would you want him to have the same opportunities that everybody else has?
Right. Well,
just think about it. Something to think about.
Here's an even deeper thing, and then we'll wrap up. But like, would you want him to have the same opportunities? Some people who are listening would say, well, they already have it. Let me just put this out there. Because I do think these people who genuinely believe that white men are the devil, they're not bad people. Mm-hmm. They believe that what they think is true.
Just like we believe what we think is true.
Sure, because they've gotten their information from these certain sources. All I would recommend is look outside of the sources that you currently have already gotten. Go look up and see if Milo Yiannopoulos is actually Satan. Go listen to Ann Coulter a little bit and see if she actually is Satan. See if she actually is racist. Go look up, Gavin McInnes as an example and see, like, oh, wait, he's not all that white supremacist. Like, he has, his wife is a Native American. Look outside of the sources that you're used to. And I think you'll start to have the same kind of opening up that I did anyway, where I was like, oh, I don't have to believe these only sources. Like, I'm allowed to think what I want. Like, but it's not that big a deal.
You can also look up data for yourself. There's governmental data. You don't even need any outside influence to find government statistics on crime, the amount of people who are white who commit crime versus
abortion.
Exactly. You don't have to look far to get the hard facts. You don't have to look hard to go through the DNC and all their donors and trace back all of the corporations. Yeah, you don't have to be you can also do it for the Republican, the RNC.
I love that. I love that shit when people were after Parkland, people were like, the NRA is funding these to do. Do you know how much money comes from these change?
Do you know how fucking government works? Also,
right?
Jesus.
They have to. Right. These little special interest groups pay money, but NRA pales in comparison to like change.org type of people who are pushing the feminist agenda, and the feminist and the Black Lives Matter agenda pay way fucking more than the NRA. Way more. And you can easily find it. You can easily find it for yourself. Don't be silly.
Yeah.
Don't be silly. Anyway.
Don't follow the crowd.
I love you all very much.
I don't.
Go to patreon.com//conservatives. Leave us a review. Leave me a review on iTunes or, wherever, like them and share it with your less offended friends. And things are going to be all right.
Is it conservatish? Conserva-ish?
You're on the show.
Is it
what is wrong with you?
I was trying to tell my dad.
Yeah, conservatish.
T-A-I-S-H.
T-A-I-S-H?
Conserve the T-I-S-H.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Don't be like Dani.
Yeah, don't be like me.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's really, honestly, I really fucking appreciate it very much.
It's been real.
And I'm going to go fucking piss.
Do it.
All right. Bye, everybody.